We're now live. UKSM, back at it. I don't know why I introduced this like that. That was terrible. It was meant to be Tomb Raider. Because we have to download the game, we're subbing in Spyro first. Tomb Raider will be after. Nost, let's just get straight into it. We don't have the time to mess around. Let's go.
Ready? Right, 3.
Wait, no, Ashley, wait.
I got.
Don't have time to mess around.
I'm professional, I promise.
Blame me.
Right, go.
Go.
Woo!
Let's go. Right, welcome everyone. My name is Nost. I'm doing Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Spyro won 120%. Hopefully, this will be world record attempt tonight, folks. So
We'll see how that goes.
let's see how that goes. I would like my couch to introduce themselves. We'll start with Yari, who's right behind me.
Yawan or Yari. Yeah. I'm just bad. So
I'm Jojo Butensorg, but everyone calls me Jojo. I'm pretty much streamer, and I do Shadow of the Colossus speedruns and Sonic Adventure DX. Now over to...
My name is Reignited. I'm the Monkey Ball runner, but all support for Spyro. I love this game, so
I've got
good luck,
another one.
Nost.
Thank you, lads. All right, these are very good mates of mine as well. Gonna have to bring them along, and plus they've been watching me do all these runs for like the past several weeks and months. So you know, had to bring them along. So yeah, in 120%. Now actually, this is probably a UKSM first because all the past times I've been running Reignited Trilogy, I've been doing the previous category to this, which is any percent. Now, any percent no balloon skip is what we would dub it because a few glitches sort of got in the way, which have now kind of. This is PC version, by the way. So again, earlier last month we had the PC version had just come out, which I believe is on Humble Monthly. Alongside with Crash Insane Trilogy and Call of Duty World at War for $12. So if you want to have a little go at Spyro Reignited Trilogy, I highly recommend this game casually. It is absolutely stunning. It's done top notch from the original days, and it still will ever be in my heart. And yeah, and so basically, obviously the main aim with 120 compared to any percent. With any percent, you're basically meant to. You're meant to just go through the game at each individual point, each individual homeworld until... Nice, sorry, that's a bit of a trick that I don't ever normally get.
basically, we skipped the egg animation for the thief.
Which every time you do that, because you need to collect multiple eggs, saves a few seconds for the run. Which of course, if this is a world record attempt, is vital.
Quite important. But yeah, so basically with any percent, the whole idea of that was I have to go through each home world and basically deal a final blow to Nasty Nor. Now, 120 is a little bit developed than that, thankfully. So you get to see me go through the entire game from start to finish, completed.
Including all the extra stuff at the end.
Yeah, so basically, few folks that might not know, there is a level that's also at the very end of the category. I will also be getting to have a little go at that as well. So here we are freeing Lindar. So obviously I jumped straight into my first home world, which was Stone Hill. I'm now coming up to the end of the level right now, and as you see, I've got this key going down here because there's a chest here. Make sure I get over into this. I would make loads of comparisons to the original, but basically there's a bit of a jump between that. So there we go, that's Stone Hill done in basically me having no time to explain any of it. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well, hope everyone's enjoying EGX so far and UKSM over on the live channel. And yes, as most of you can all see, I've dressed for the occasion, I felt. Blame the lads behind me, I think it was their idea. Was it my idea? I can't
It wasn't my idea.
Pretty much, Yari and me are his mods, and we just like to bully him from time to time, so we do stuff like this.
Can't blame me for this one, though.
As soon as I saw the costume, I was like, you know what, head straight in that, yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. We just missed the chest, which needs...
Not the end of the world, though, thankfully.
It's not the end of the world, but it means that he needs to take the same jump again, which lose a few seconds.
See, now one thing I will be honest about with this game is compared to Now, there's a few features which is really, really crucial between the PC version and the console version, because console version came out basically nearly a year ago now. I think it was around a year ago in November.
I think stuff like that.
Can't specifically remember the date. But the console version just came out last month. And basically, with the console version, the game was stuck at 30 frames a second. And obviously, with any controller you use, whether it's Xbox or through PS4, all the inputs would be going across through wireless. Now, with this PC version, thankfully, things are a little bit more cleaner, I suppose. Which, when you've got cleanliness, sadly, you also get discrete human error creeping in. So, as you can see, I'm running the game in 60 FPS, which is a nice little feature you have with Spyro 1, which is quite neat. However, there are a few errors along the way, which you'll notice hopefully a little later within the run, specifically when we arrive into Magic Crafters. I'll get more onto that later. And obviously another thing as well, I've basically got my controller straight into the computer, so all of the inputs are being registered directly through my USB, which obviously means that all of my movements are going to be a lot more discreet, a lot more specific. Achievement
Bringing this
folks.
back. We're going to be getting a bunch of those throughout this one.
All right, that's the second egg.
You're not on my account, sadly. Again, shout-outs to Sky for allowing us to set this up nice and quick. Thank you, Sky.
You're a savior.
Yeah, so in any percent, there's actually a skip that we do on this stage with one of the... I can't remember the dragon's name.
Nils.
Yeah,
Nils, sorry, I know all of their names and playing this way too much.
We do a skip there where basically as he disappears, his animation is still playing and so is his hitbox. It allows us with correct positioning to basically boost up on top of the platform, which in an any percent run is actually really, really quick.
Pretty much.
With the difference with that, because we're doing a 100% run or 120% run, we have to go and collect through everything basically.
And
Say hello to Nestor, everyone. I forgot to skip his cutscene.
there is a glitch.
Hi, Nestor.
Thank you for releasing Spyro. Free 10 dragons
You know
in Artisan
the
World,
lines, join
then
in.
find the balloonist. He'll
We'll
transport you to the next world.
World.
What about Nasty Noir? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first.
That's all I can tell you.
Now,
In the original, you cannot skip that, glitches or not, so we know that off by heart.
in this game, you can technically skip him. I've just missed that skip, which sadly means I think I'm not going to jeopardize world record or anything, so I've got loads of time saving this, hopefully. What you're meant to do, before you get to Nestor, you're meant to jump as you're freeing him, and the game recognizes that when Spyro is beginning the cutscene with downwards momentum, for Nestor specifically, if you press triangle at the moment when you're starting, you can skip him. There's the same as well for the 80th dragon, which is Magnus, which we'll be getting later on. So here's our first flight level, which is Sunny Flight. Canonically, I'm not meant to be doing this level now, because the game intends for you to know about this level when you're in Magic Crafters, but because basically the game can allow you to get it a little bit earlier, just by hopping on the little like, you know, pebbles at the beginning. But we're just going to go and get through this right now, get it done and over with, and then carry on the rest of our artisans.
Also, I should explain, as you're going to see, Nost is flying quite low to the water throughout this. Now, a weird thing about free flight in this game is the lower you are down, the faster you fly. So,
The thing is, the moment you touch the water, it's game over. You need to start at the beginning. So it's pretty much risk reward, and of course, how better you want your run to be, how lower to the ground you are.
There's a few notorious levels which later on forces you to get very close to the water. Well, you'll find out which one isn't my favorite. Thankfully, Sunny Flight's quite nice. It's the one which I actually don't really know very much the route to, because in any percent, which is my main category, I don't need to do this level. So
also,
this is going to be pretty slow.
Right here, we're going to try and skip. We failed.
Yeah, alright.
It's tough. That one's quite tough to do anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to skip that animation in the original, unfortunately.
Pretty much, if you had like collide with the wall at the same time or something like that, you'll skip the animation of it all coming together, so you get your point, pretty much your gems quicker. Which of course saves time.
Also, sorry, I'm going to be comparing this to the original a lot because it's the only version of this game that I've ran.
Lads, feel free to, because if I'm not doing it constantly when I'm live, you lads can today.
True.
Right. Now we're going to Dark Hollow.
Probably one of my favorite levels.
It's a really cool
It's
looking
so
level.
aesthetically pleasing.
Is this a good time for donations?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
We've got one from Cinnabao, £30. Inspiring choice of course, special effect, are doing such an important job. Hope you're all having a great time at EGX. XOXO.
Yeah,
You me?
so much.
You might?
Right, yeah.
Good luck, Nost, at the 120%. Keep going and always booyah back. Emerald Keeper Jason, £5. Nice nasty Nost from your long-time cheeky bullet in the crowd. That brings our donation total up to £1,071.90.
Hey, thank you everyone.
So good.
Thank you all so much. Your support is absolutely awesome, and Special Effect are an absolutely awesome charity for a brilliant cause. So again, keep your donations coming. I'll send you all the draconic love, obviously, from the Spyro side and from your boy Nost here.
Right, so for this level, from what I'm aware, there aren't really any skips you can do. It's just routing the level properly.
There is sort of one, but it's a bit of a weird one because one of the first Norks that I tried going through there, his hitbox is so it's so. Generally, you can get the very, very top of him. I know I was able to do that on console, but because 60 FPS, because 60 FPS on PC versions a little bit. Actually, do one of you three want to mention about the physics of this game?
The physics in this game is tied to the frame rate. It honestly makes no sense to me whatsoever, but
Makes no sense to a lot of people, though. Thank you, Toys for Bob, for using the same game engine as Fortnite for that. I suppose I'm just gonna blame that. Fortnite, thank you very much.
yeah, for some reason, for example, Spyro will jump higher at 30 FPS compared to higher frame rates, and 60 FPS some of the walls in is it High Caves? I forget what level it is.
You'll find it out.
With the wizards.
We'll come there eventually.
Yeah, we'll point it out when we get there. Some of them don't move, and at high frame rates like 144, if you try and stay still, Spyro will slide around the place. So
Shoutouts to Chris LBC for finding that out.
yeah, and because of that reason, we have to keep the game capped at 60 FPS, which is also why there is a frame rate counter in the top right corner.
Yeah.
And also, one really key thing as well, if you are interested in running Reignited 2 and Reignited 3, it's optimal to run the game in 30 frames per second, purely because, again, with the whole idea of height, Spyro, again, gets a little bit more of a height with the hover, so it's really crucial to run the game in 30 rather than in 60. It's a really weird thing. Now, this is the first boss within Spyro 1.
Toasty.
Which is good old Toasty. Now, the level of Toasty itself is a bit mean, really. And if anything, Toasty and the shepherds aren't the worst enemies. It's these dogs. Purely because with these dogs, you have to flame them twice for them to actually be, defeated. And sometimes if you miss their hitbox, because they're quite elusive to snag with the flame, they can get on past and squish Spyro, which is not what we want to see. And then later on, you see that these dogs are a very important part when you're facing the actual boss itself.
Yeah, they're quite cruel, unfortunately, but
Yeah. And actually, I think they're quite difficult as well in the first game as well.
yeah, I don't know if they're harder
like
in
in
this
OG
original, but
Yeah, as you can see, Toast is actually a scarecrow, but under.
we've been fighting a sheep this whole time.
And we got it. Burnt Toast.
And there's the last 4 gems.
Alright, awesome.
Did I just exit the level there?
Yeah?
What the heck?
Alright.
Playing the game too much. So there we are. That's basically the whole of Artisan's done. A whole 120%. I'm just going to get these last few gems, and then Marco the Balloonist will be on our way to pick us up and take us to our next location, which is Peacekeepers.
Something to note here, we do have motion blur turned off at this moment, but for some reason, Peacekeepers turns it on.
Not in PC version, though.
Not in
Gary.
PC? Oh,
That's one thing, thankfully, that was fixed.
That's
In the
nice to
console
know.
version, back before, obviously, we had our 1.03 patch, when you were able to turn the motion blur off, Nasty's loot and Peacekeepers were hard locked on, but thankfully this was all fixed, and now obviously we can see that motion blur is still off.
That is so nice to look at now.
Yeah. Right, so here we are. We've got another little trick in Peacekeepers. This is, again, big shout-outs to what we used to use in the original as wall glides. Now, what you see here is I'm going to do a little bit of damage abusing by basically using sparks to get across to here, jump up. Guess I didn't get it.
Well,
That's a bit more time loss.
it's not that lot.
I'm going to try it one more time. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to blame the frame rate and carry on usually.
Just blame the frames.
Blame the frames. Again, I haven't ran this in such nice quality before. There we go.
Nice.
Get up onto the side there.
Pretty much right now we're actually going to the second flight directly, which is one of the later levels you'll normally do in the game.
This is normally the first flight you would do, but we do it second.
Might as well do it for speedrunning order, right? Keeping it quick, keeping to the route. So you'll see that Night Flight I'm a little bit better at, purely because this actually is a part of the any percent routing, which is actually quite a nice thing with the flights. And if, again, to anyone who wants to learn Reignited Trilogy, no matter if it's 1, 2, or 3, actually that's a lie. If you're doing 1, I highly recommend learning all of the flights, no matter if it's the original game or if it's Reignited, because the routing for these flights are exactly the same between both any percent and with 120.
Now, something to mention about those arches is the the
Shrapnel.
shrapnel. That's the word, sorry. All the shrapnel has a collision, and that can throw Spyro about the place if he flies into it, meaning that can chuck us into the water and we'd have to start.
Sometimes it can be used for benefit, sometimes it can be a massive pain in the Nork butter.
Thankfully, none of it seems to touch us, so it's about neutral.
Actually, that's a bit of an awkward thing though, because recently I had it in Wild Flight where one managed to touch. There we got a little animation skip as well there, it's quite cool.
That's what we try to do in Sunny Flight.
So basically, towards the end of the flight, when you get to a wall, you can cancel out the final animations, which generally would take up the real time, by, thank you camera, doing a nice little thing there as usual.
Third egg. Right.
Yeah, when we speak about routing in any percent, it's mainly to cater for the certain requirements for each homeworld. So for each homeworld, I believe for the first one it's collect 10 dragons, for the second one it's 1,200 gems, for the third one it's 5 eggs.
Yep.
For the fourth one it's
50 dragons.
50 dragons, and then for World 5 it's 6,000 gems.
Yep.
And then, well, obviously the sixth world is Ganassy's world, so we don't really have anything to worry about then. But
And it's just
again, any type of routing is that in the terms of home world requirements, it really doesn't matter due to the fact that we're getting everything in each home world. So we're pretty much catered for. So as you can already see on the screen, Nost is already at 1,400. He can basically move on to home world 3.
Yeah, once I've done with this level, I could, if I wanted to just change it straight to any percent, I literally could just hop straight to the next home world.
Not the best idea to do, but
Not
hey.
for 120. I don't want to do any backtracking. That's another thing. If you don't like backtracking, or if you don't want to do a run which has, a lot of glitches, then I highly recommend 120, as it's a very speed tech focused, it's a very movement tech focused run. Again, same with the originals as well, just if you want to do some really big major glitches, then you can save loads of time. But within this game, it's nice and glitchless, I'd say.
It's basically more about just getting through each level and sorting out some sort of route, whereas if you're doing like Spyro 2 or Spyro 3, you have to collect gems for power-ups in order to then get into like water. Shout out to Moneybags. And it can get really backtracking, so if you want a solid run that is just basically one time through each level, Spyro 1 is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Right, another thing I should also mention as well. The camera in this game. So in the original, not in the original, I should say within the console version, obviously when you're running in 30 FPS, there was a very odd chance the camera can detach when you just... One thing that you're meant to do as well when playing the game is you're meant to hold on to basically charging as much as you can, purely because you can get this
That's the animation.
Is that like half cutscene?
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
First at UKSM.
That's a UKSM, and I think probably a first I've seen on any stream. So there we go. So basically, what you're meant to do with skipping feeds is when you get an egg thief, if you're going, again, if Spyro has downward momentum, so if you're in the middle of a jump, you can skip the egg's animation and it will just automatically collect. However, what happened there, I was in the middle of an animation, however, one of the Norks managed to cancel that animation by shooting Spyro. So, if anything, thank you, Nork. You've
Time save.
Yeah, you've saved time.
I thought they were like the enemies in this game.
Well, they're meant to be.
Maybe secretly they're not. Maybe they're trying to help us.
Who knows? There are some weird conspiracies about this game.
There is one little thing that it's made a little nuisance for is what's optimal is if I had yellow sparks, because in a very brief moment I will charge into these firework chests. I'll charge into this first one, but not the second one. Now, one difference between the original and Reignited is with these firework chests. In Reignited, if you charge into them, the gems will home, which in the original you don't do. You have to basically go as quick as you can to where the position of the fountain is, where the gems come out.
Yep. All right.
Go 400 gems.
Done with this roll.
Dry Canyon done.
So yeah, there are going to be points where we are going to want the basically sparks at max health in order to do these type of skips. If we don't have them at max health, we will try and adjust to other methods and probably just skip out one of what we were intentionally trying to do if we had yellow sparks. Right. But basically how the health works for that is that yellow is max.
Then green.
Is it blue or green?
Green. It goes yellow, blue, green,
and then we won't have a spark.
Then gone.
Yeah.
Right, so here we are entering Cliff Town. Now, Cliff Town is a bit of a devil of a level. Yeah. This will really show the difficulty if the 3D platforming within this level, especially within speedrun routing. I've got a few tricks coming up. One of them is pretty much immediate, where I will be going straight around this building, trying not to die. Yeah. Just like that, managed to get that done fine. And then, in a moment, this is what I call a triple threat. And why I call it a triple threat is I've basically got trick after trick after trick. Do you lads want to explain what's going on when I'm doing it? Because I'm obviously need a focus while doing it, right?
So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I can think.
There's a few things. There are some specific fireworks in this level which you can hit by flaming them, which will fly around the level and then hit certain chests. Those chests have gems in them. The thing is,
triple threat starts now, by the way.
We're going to try to reach these areas a bit earlier than we should.
This is pretty much, well, it's extremely difficult. I wouldn't say it's pixel perfect or anything, but
yeah,
it's sort of height determinant.
Yeah, which if you see FPS here, because of you having a higher jump, it's an easier one to do. So
Should I be a little bit cheeky and turn it to 30?
You could,
yeah,
depending if you want to save. Never mind.
There we go. Never mind.
Yeah, say you're going to turn it to 30 and the game will comply. You're not meant to get that normally that way.
Yeah.
But you can. You can do that in original too, it's very nice.
Yeah.
that was the end of Triple Threat. So as you saw what happened, I was trying to get that chest, that's the hard of it. You can basically switch to 30 frames a second, but I just wanted to show that you can still do it in 60. It's just a little bit harder. And then what you do, there's the firework, which I managed to snipe in nice and quick. With that firework, you're not really meant to get it there, you're meant to fly down and glide to it, but because, again, you can just get it right at the very bottom, and then from that point onwards, you can then just go down and do that animation skip for the thief. And the firework is meant to destroy this chest that was here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a magic stairs right now, if I can do it.
Alright, yes, nice. Alright, so yeah, in a mode, one of the latest levels, we actually have something called magic stairs, where you need to do 5 really nice jumps in a row to make sure you can immediately get up there, otherwise it's quite a bit of time loss. But yeah, because you need to read thread again.
Nearly forgot that gem. Thank goodness for gem count.
Yeah. That's sometimes the thing. Sparks doesn't always get the gems, even though he's supposed to. So Nost sometimes counts how many gems he has in a level to make sure he has everything. Because of course, needing to thread back to a level.
Thank you, Dead Body.
Thank you, Dead Body.
Appreciate it.
Shoutouts to OG, where that used to be a problem. Whereas in Reignited, it's generally not. But that's a little bit of a demonstration where fodder can be a little bit nasty as well, sometimes.
Alright, nice. Cool.
So like, sometimes the loads can be a little bit of downtime as well. Right, let's do some double inputting.
Basically what's happening here is you can do multiple movement inputs to make that turn faster. How many is it you can do up to? Like 4?
You can go up to 4, yeah.
Yeah. That would be, is it 2 or 3 on the controller and then 1 on the keyboard?
That's 2 on the controller and 2 on the keyboard. A little bit later, there's a cannon which I am going to attempt to do triple input, which actually, again, PC exclusive. I'll be basically using my 2 in my controller and try and use my pinky finger to press side on the keyboard to try and skip it. Now here comes my favorite boss. This is Dr. Shem.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry folks, but this is probably where the reason why Spyro, I'd say, is a little bit after hours. As much as this game looks very cute, there's a good old PG rating on this. Obviously because of cartoon violence, and I'm sorry Matt, but this is where UKSM is gonna get flagged for nudity.
Hey, don't worry.
Just basically, folks, when we get to the boss, let's all cover our eyes, because no one wants to see the behind of Dr. Shem. It's very
NSFW.
A nice 1080p and very glorious boss graphics.
In any percent, we wouldn't be seeing this guy at all. We just ignore him.
But you know what? In good old 2019 1080p fashion.
He's gotta die.
Hello, Mr. Cruel, Dr. Shem. Cover your eyes. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed UKSM. Please don't report.
I would like it.
It does make you think, though, that the developers who made this game have clearly put loads of passion and love into it. They clearly have the same humor as everyone else who were playing it back in the day. Which, when the game is more like a passion project for developers, you know that they want to put their heart and all into it. And Spyro 1 shows it absolutely perfectly in my book. It's absolutely stunning. But thank you, Dr. Shem. It's very quick for gems. You only got 1 dragon there. And now we're going to be heading over to, I would say, is my favorite level of the game, which is Ice Cavern. Purely because in a homeworld which is themed on desolation and, and security, and, your color palettes are very orange, very yellow, you've then all of a sudden got this level which is very blue, very,
Icy.
Very icy, very cold and abstract.
I mean, that seems to be the case for like most games. I mean, it's like, for instance, Mario, you're in like World 2 and you get a water level. For whatever reason, it just seems to be the way games make their levels. It's like you're in a desert. We're gonna have 9 of the levels desert themed. The last one is just gonna be the complete opposite.
It still keeps the theme of desolation really a little bit, you know? If you're in a cold tundra environment, you wouldn't want to get left alone, you know?
Yeah, I guess what they're kind of going for is like the isolation feeling. Because like if you're in a desert, it's kind of isolated out there, so it's kind of the same for like some sort of like ice level as well.
And I mean, deserts can become really cold, so who knows? This might be still part of the exact same desert.
Oh yeah, do we also get to see magic stairs in 120%?
Yes.
Let's go.
Alright.
I'm excited.
Let's see. First try, let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope. It's quite a difficult one. There's a lot of tight jumping in it.
Right, shall I attempt the jump?
Oh,
Hey.
show off.
I'm sorry.
M-A-G-I-C. Hey, magic!
Magic! Yes.
That's such a fun trick. I love it.
It maybe it doesn't seem that hard, but it's actually really hard to pull off because you're constantly rushing as well.
Yeah.
You have to press X each time you jump across.
Yeah.
Which in the original you didn't have to do, but in Reignited that's obviously it's a little mechanic change.
More achievements. Sky's gonna have so many achievements. For
She's
this
got
game.
so many achievements.
Might as well go for complete all the achievements of the game, mate.
Sky, if you wanted to get all the achievements for the game, we're so sorry.
I've just got half of them for her. So with Ice Cavern as well, another reason why I quite like it, and it's a sort of interesting thing between the Reignited and OG sort of share, is there are 2 different routes you can go around doing this level. One is about, probably about 2 in-game time seconds quicker, but one's a little bit nicer to do than the other purely because you can do a little bit of a death abuse for it. Which I haven't done. I have not done the death abuse route. This is, obviously the deathless route, which keeps the momentum going. And I'll be finishing. Obviously, you can see I've got that key in the bottom corner. I'll be finishing off with the key chest.
Pretty much, death abuse usually is you spawn at a different location to continue faster into the run, or if you like lose spark for an important part of the level, you can death abuse so you can have sparks back at yellow in trade of a single life, which is most of the times worth it, depending on how low you're on lives.
All of the dragons Nost saves count as checkpoints that you can respawn at, basically. So yeah.
So, Jojo, I know you're into your old school music, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who was one of the composers for the music for this game and for the originals?
What was his name again? The worst part is, I'm usually good with this, but you're putting me on the spot.
Right.
Up aboard for the Magic
I
Crafters
vaguely
world if you're
remember
ready.
this, but like
And we're jumping in sideways.
it's lingering somewhere there. I know it, but like
So, to any fans of good old school, the police.
That's it.
Anyone
Oh,
fans
that
of the
was it.
police in the audience?
that's it. The police.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
I do like "Message in a Bottle." It actually is one of my favorite songs, and "Every Breath You Take," obviously, good old classic.
Roxanne.
Now, fun fact: the drummer Stuart Copeland is the composer for the original trilogy music of the games. So what you're listening to is basically the remastered versions of the music that was originally composed by Stuart Copeland.
Didn't Stuart
Big
Copeland
shout outs to the
help-
police, basically.
Didn't Stuart Copeland help with the remaster of the music as well?
Oh, what with the soundtrack?
Yeah.
There was a composer on it. I forgot his name sadly. He did. Oh wait, do Do you mean the main theme though, Gary?
What's that?
Does he also help composing the main theme as well?
Yeah.
Right, so here comes Alpine Ridge. This is my least favorite level in 120, both in OG and Reignited. So,
This is the one with the frame rate issues.
yes. So, I'm gonna get to a point within the level where I'm gonna have to go into the graphics and turn the frame rate down to 50 or 30. I might try 50 first. You'll notice that there's a wall where there would be a wizard who would basically raise it up and lower it down. Now, back when I ran on the GDQ hotfix, when the game came out for the PC, me and a few other runners had a little go at obviously seeing what the game has to offer a few days early.
Oh, that's a bad start.
Ah, well. Sometimes that happens, and you know what, marathon luck.
Just wing it.
Just wing it.
Oh,
That's why I've got my wings, folks. Freshly skidding from Spyro. Sorry.
yeah, those wizards are finicky, and sometimes their stuff, well, the stuff they move, when it doesn't move back occasionally.
Yeah.
So I have to do it now already because this one ain't working.
Normally this one will work on that. So yeah, unfortunately we're going to have to see a bit of choppiness for this level.
So yeah, that's basically the first example of these wizards being a little bit... It's weird how the way that they work is also frame rate dependent as well, because it only happens in 60. If I go into a higher frame rate, you know, it still doesn't become a problem. But because I'm going to try and see if I can push for world record, I'm going to still attempt. Do you lads want to explain what also happened just there with Sparks and the fodder?
Basically, I think it was actually basically Spyro tried to eat a butterfly from fodder, and because of that he refused to pick up gems, basically. And it's really annoying.
But what sort of butterfly did he eat?
I think was it a blue life one?
It was a blue. It was a blue butterfly indeed. So this is the notorious wall, by the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get past him. And after I finish the cycles, because we've got one more cycle coming up, which is this platform you see up here, I'm going to switch the game back to 60 because I've basically done.
Now we can turn it back to 60.
Now we can go back to 60 because.
Alright.
Thank you, game. I don't want to change frame rate either. I mean, resolution.
Don't want to change the resolution, that'll be bad.
We're all good.
And we can see smoothly again.
That's a lot better for the eyes.
Now, there is one more trick in this level which is a little bit difficult, which is another animation skip for the feed. But we'll get to that in a very brief moment. Right?
Pretty much this one, if you get this one, you can save a whole lot of time. So if you heard that, that means you got a life. Oh, sorry.
Nation, if it's a good time.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Emerald Keeper Jason. I call Alpine Ridge the Sean Bean level, because one does not simply complete Alpine Ridge without dying at least once, especially where the original is concerned.
That's very true.
I'm sure everyone dies in it at least once.
Yep.
Come on.
Right, this is really hard.
Oh, yes!
Hey. That's really difficult, and this thief has quite a long track, so not getting that
Could make you walk this track like 2 times.
Yeah, at least 2 times, that's the one.
Sometimes even 3. And if that's so, you're not having a good time. Alright, hitting that last chest and leaving.
Oh, that's because he had
Moving
it.
next shoe. Again, I told you, human error. It's just so precise. What can I say?
What happened there is he had his menu over the options button, so when trying to fast exit the level, he accidentally opened the graphics settings.
Getting him's better than missing him, so I'm just going to go with that.
Alright, now we're actually kind of getting in the first contact with these kinds of panels. Pretty much, and if you walk on these panels, you'll get a supercharge. And
Who needs a key? Who needs a key?
Who needs
normally that's the chest you can only open with a key, or you can supercharge it, which pretty much saves you a whole lot of time to go back on the level. IKs.
So this level focuses heavily on supercharge. This is where the game starts essentially guiding you and tutorialing you into learning this supercharged mechanic as Jojo's just described.
Yeah.
Now, there will be moments where, now within this game compared to in the original, supercharge is actually a little bit manipulative that us speedrunners can use. In the original, actually no, just in supercharge in general, you got 3 ranks, which in the original is static. However, in Reignited, it's rather dynamic, I'd say. It's very fluid. Bit of an oof.
That's a bad start for that as well. Ah, well.
So basically what you'll see is Spyro will be gaining supercharge rank while I'll be able to completely reduce his momentum to really slow. And there's a trick I'm going to try and do with routing, which I tried inventing myself very recently, where to go fast you have to go slow.
Oh yeah, you didn't get it?
And now it's messed up.
This is also another example of to go fast you have to go slow, but hopefully without having to bonk.
Alright.
Just like that.
Pretty much what he did now, he slowed himself down a lot to actually get those 2 chests without needing to take damage for it, or needing to wait a little while.
Preferably we would have gotten all 3, but
Not the end of the world. 2 is pretty good.
All 3 is actually possible, but it's quite difficult to do.
Yeah.
So shout outs to top runners who can make that.
Alright, nice, got it without any...
that is quite... That animation skip is one that plenty of people have probably done casually because it's extremely easy to do because that's
Folks, to go fast, you have to go slow. Nice!
Alright, awesome. Pretty much, you have these enemies...
You didn't get him.
Not fully, but still, that's time saved by at least like 5 in-game time seconds.
That wizard was just like psych.
Yep. Oh well. Pretty much, you see those special, like, pretty much spiders.
Mwah.
Those can only be killed in 2 specific ways. This super flame and a super charge. Other than that, you can't hit them, you can't damage them. And also, this super flame can destroy certain boxes, which you normally need to use like a regular flame to get the gem up, or you need to flame multiple times.
So I'm going to be a little bit interesting and do the Saboom route right now. So this might take a little bit of in-game time up. I'm going to death abuse here. What this is going to do, this is going to bring me back to the dragon, which is right next to the supercharge, because I actually still have 1 more Spyro to kill. And a few gems I've missed. Actually 2 Spyros to kill, sorry.
Oh.
Is it
Got
really
these
a
guys
spider? It looks like a mix between a spider and a scorpion. It's weird. Well, at least to me.
See, now in the original, they were scarab-looking creatures, whereas in these, I'd say they're more like spiders.
Oh, there was. Yeah. Oh wait, no, you killed that one already. No.
Right, so obviously I've got all these guys here, apart from this one here, so I'm going to carry on up from this bit here, trying to avoid the whirlwinds that come down. Back en route.
By the way, we need a bonk counter because we've got at least 1 or 2 now. How
Bonk
many?
counter.
Yeah, bonk counter.
Yeah, sometimes though, you'll notice a very important thing with Reignited is sometimes you have to bonk to win. That's what I like to say.
Pretty much what we mean with bonking is hitting your head against like a wall. Sometimes we actually use it to get up stairs easier because it gives you a little bit of height, so you can immediately go further. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see. All right, just barely got that. All good. And what he did with the fan of one of those of the spinny things, he actually hit one of the egg-holding thieves and jumping, so he didn't get the animation as well, without even seeing if it hit or not, which is pretty cool.
Nice, quick and smooth. Just how I like it in a speedrun.
Alright.
There's some more use of the slowdown of the supercharge. Allowing us to go
For example,
through
that chest you saw there is only also breakable with a supercharge. So
keeping it within routing.
doing that in a single run saves a lot of time.
So who here knows about the Amanda Show?
What?
Have you heard of the Amanda Show? It's a bit of I think it's an American thing. But basically, this is the theme to the Amanda Show, which, one little history, I also believe they snagged it from this game. I've never watched it myself, but that's just some good old American trivia.
Thank you, Sparks.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, Sparks is not a very nice little dragonfly within Reignited. He can be a bit obnoxious. He's a bit gluttonous, I should say. He prefers to eat butterflies over collecting gems, so sometimes getting fodder actually can be a bit of a hindrance while he's yellow, because you don't need fodder.
He just likes to knob.
He just likes to have his little nom-nom, you know. Big belly Sparks. Right, so here I'm going to do a little bit of supercharged manipulation here.
We just turn around and
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. Let's try again.
Right, pretty much, if you normally want to get that wizard, you need to go back on the top wave like we did before, only there's a different route you can also take. So, to save a lot of time, we use the supercharge, which you normally only be able to go downwards with, and actually brought it upwards, which saves you a whole lot of time getting it. Alright, the wizard. We're falling with a lot of death abuse to get back to the supercharge area quicker.
This is also a death abuse that I do in any percent as well, so it's still optimal to do this.
Didn't do a swag roll, I'm disappointed.
Also, who out of you three behind me remember the one problem that this level had on the console version?
Basically, those blue big ice wizards, this pack of 4, one of them on console was extremely finicky and would drop his 5 gem, and Sparks would just never be able to pick it up.
It wasn't a 5 gem, but you are on the right lines, Yari.
5 gem?
Basically, it's one of the small guys. It drops a 1 gem. But the 1 gem doesn't actually exist the first time you're in the level. You basically have to die to get that gem, which back when the game used to be really dependent on in-game time, as much as that wasn't important, it's actually still sort of really crucial to do.
Yeah.
So it can still be a little bit of a nuisance. Thankfully, though, that's been patched in the PC version, so I don't need to worry about that anymore.
So, towards the end of this level, on an any percent run, there's actually a really tricky skip that you can do regarding the supercharge, which is basically you gain supercharge and you have to try and get up all of the flights of stairs towards the vortex. And if you can, it's really, really tricky to do because as you're building up speed, you have to basically jump way before you're meant to, and it can kind of be disorientating, but if you can get it, it looks really, really cool, and it also saves quite a bit of time as well.
And actually, Reku, the reason why I routed that sort of the level like that was because I was trying to do that. So it does save you a lot of time trying to put in that strat to try and, you know, get up around what I call Lucas Hill while holding that supercharge. But again, extremely difficult to do. Shoutouts to the top runners that can do that. So people like Chris LBC and Lulu Pate, big shoutouts to them too.
Also, you may worry that we just missed a dragon that was sitting in front of Crystal Flight, but no, when we leave Crystal Flight, we fly into it automatically, so don't need to worry about going in.
And also shoutouts to OG for Dragon Skip.
Yeah, if you did that in OG specifically by going into Crystal Flight from behind, I don't know if there was a specific way to do it, but basically when you left you would hit the dragon while entering the level, and you just get the dragon's animation and not not need to collect it. Well, you would collect it, but you know what I mean.
You don't have to talk to him pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't have the animation of him like getting out of it like his gem form.
What you do in that version of in OG is you're confusing the game by freeing the dragon as you're entering a level. I accidentally just pressed retry.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's fine. Load times are
Right.
Not the end of the world.
Load times are much better in this in the PC version.
Yeah.
And thankfully, that doesn't really affect the run that much because in game time that will have added like a few milliseconds.
Alright.
Do you three want to mention about the 3 different ways to run this game?
Basically, there are 3 timing methods that at least Nost uses for this run. There's in-game time, which the leaderboards are based on. There's IRL time, which is just the entire run, and IRL loadless, which is the IRL time but without loads added in. That loadless is the one we use to try and estimate where we are on pace with the run until we can only really check the in-game time at the end by pausing.
Yeah. Alright, now we're entering into a new boss, which is Blowhard. Pretty much...
Guys, come on, keep it PG. What are you doing naming a boss that sounds so, well...
I mean, hey, blame choice for Bob.
I'm blaming it.
The original, actually.
Frankly, this boss is pathetic.
He's really easy. I mean, I only played this game casual, and even I could even beat him, so it's not that hard.
So, just a little amendment to what Yari was saying a moment ago. In-game time is actually what the console runs use. PC actually use loadless.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
So yeah, that's how we determine leaderboards now. I still like to follow real time though because I like to run at marathons. You know, show off how Reignite performs to everyone. No, I was very close.
I was really close to the end,
Still
yeah.
held it in.
That would have been a decently annoying time loss.
Yeah, because you need to actually pretty much start from halfway through the level again.
Oh yeah, one more thing we should mention is that Loadless has an auto splitter that we can use, so
That's
no need to
actually
worry about that.
it's actually what I'm using behind the game right now, just to determine whether this could potentially be a world record or not.
It's not the one you're seeing on stream, unfortunately.
It's what we'll see at we'll see 2 different timers at the very end. You have one that's in the game, which is his in-game timer, and there'll be the one that we'll see right after that. So here we are entering Beastmakers, which I'm going to be honest, the remasters made it look absolutely stunning.
Best homeworld, don't at me.
Now, Beastmakers as well is home to a few very iconic homeworlds. Iconic for being, especially casually, yeah, quite difficult.
Yeah.
The first level I'm going to be coming into right now is Terrace Village. Now, Terrace Village is where cycles become quite important, purely because you've got your zap panels, which, again, for speedrunners, we don't want Reed to get zapped. However, the timing of the Norks that zap them, sometimes because Spyro's like death animation can run, not death animation, his hit animation run a little bit, like damage animation run a little bit quicker than how much the shock does on the panel. Getting shocked isn't that much of an issue, but again, to save time, anything happens. And there's a little bit of RNG chicken right there. Thank you very much.
That chicken is really annoying because as you see it drops fodder that Sparks likes to go for. And
Nork didn't want you to
I
do
was
that.
not expecting you to get hit there, I must say.
It's fine. Hopefully Claude's chicken will help us a little later. Claude's chicken is my friend.
It looks like there might have been a true gem back there. Not sure though. I'm not certain.
See in a little moment. So, I don't know if you saw as well that I managed to get Sparks to point in a certain direction as well. What he does for that is basically, say if that I was not able to collect all of the gems that were behind me, Sparks has this really neat little feature within Reignited that allows you to point at any gems you may have missed. Which is a little bit of a, I suppose it's an accessibility feature as well, which is really, really neat.
In the originals, it was actually a cheat code that you had. Well, it was classed as a cheat code, but... yeah. Oh well, means we can tank the hit of the next one. Yeah, here, it's just unlocked by default, so nice.
How's the cycles and speedrunning?
Too fast for the game.
Not doing very good with the cycles today, are we?
Well. Seems to be going alright with the flights though, so hopefully our next level will be nice to us. Because that's also where I've got quite key time save. I'm playing hardcore mode there.
Not sure what you were trying to do there, and yeah, he had all the gems.
Right,
so
so
I was wrong.
Immediate. Oh, my wings just moved into your face there, Yari. Sorry. Invading there, have to lean back. So coming up right here, we've got oh, Sparks is yellow. Didn't realise that.
Oh, that's good.
A little bit of damage boosting there. So basically, when Spyro gets hit, for a very brief moment, he's invincible.
Nice. That hog can get out a lot of players very easily.
Definitely if you're new to the game and you don't know about that tool, it can hit you right in the face and sometimes even push you into the water.
He's killed me at least twice. At least.
So folks, welcome to what I would call potentially the worst flight in this game.
Potentially.
This is...
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. It just is the worst.
So
this is Run Killer.
Yeah. So basically, when we were mentioning about the lower you go, the faster you go. So wild flight, you have to go right next to the water because you know everything's close to the water. So one slight slip up can potentially kill the run.
And yeah, this flight is a couple of minutes long, I believe, so it's a lot of time lost if you die at the end.
And also, the camera can sometimes really act weird, and it can make you have a lot of pain and suffering.
That's also slightly, I reckon, is a frame rate thing, because in 60 frames a second, it happens more often, weirdly enough. Basically what it does is the camera will go into something what I would dub as dynamic mode. It's something which you can't really turn off, but it's the game's way of trying to make it look a little bit pretty and cinematic.
That was really good.
That was probably one of the best wild flights I've done, so it's immediate time save right there for me.
Yeah. Alright.
Hopefully world record routing.
Wasn't the last one you did at least 1 or 2 deaths in there?
Yeah, at least 2 deaths.
So yeah, that saved a couple minutes off the previous one.
Alright,
Oh,
Misty Bog.
who knows this level? Being an absolute horror. So, Misty Bog is what I would class as probably the hardest level in this game in general, because the enemies, their reaction times are very, very quick. This is where it tests how well you are dodging things and obviously trying to flame things. And towards the end of this level,
There's a specific area which we know is known as Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo
Get
Bay.
to that in a bit.
That is a what I would call a community least so favorite. Hence why we all named it that.
Also, welcome to the Killer Bunny trees. They're quite interesting, let's just say that.
And these frogs.
Yep.
Hold on, the frogs.
They're cold-blooded killers.
They really are. They are. Their hit range is extremely long. They attack extremely fast. And yeah, there's no way of blocking their attacks well, there's very little way of blocking any attacks in this game, so...
Because I've got yellow sparks, I'm gonna go down here. This is quicker routing.
Yeah.
Generally, see now that this is why, again, for Misty Bog to be quite an unreliable level as well. If I had low sparks at this point, generally I would change the route up to try and keep as many checkpoints as I can, just in case I die. But because Sparks is yellow at the moment, and I'm hoping I don't make any silly little slip-ups, we're gonna keep it going.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
We just need a huge wood of like untreated. We need just a huge slab of untreated wood just to knock on it to be certain.
Just gotta say, that frog almost hit you there, like a couple of frames.
Thankfully, the boars in this level are actually somewhat... I wouldn't say they're friendly. But they're a little bit... They kind of are a little bit of aid.
They can kill other enemies, as you've clearly seen, so we can use that to our advantage by just keeping them alive for a few seconds more.
The enemy of your enemy is your friend. Until they're gone, then it's your enemy.
This is probably one of the only times when the enemy is sort of your friend. There are some...
I think the jesters are counted as enemies, technically,
But bear in mind, you've got the little cupid little devil guys in the Dreamweaver levels. They also can be quite helpful in Reignited. If timed correctly.
This is something you're gonna have to explain to me.
Yeah.
Right.
As you see, I'm back here. Now I'm gonna head over to Roscoe, which is just over here. Because obviously, routing benefit, gonna go into this right now. Now I'm gonna be en route to Guantanamo Bay, which you'll see is a level that has there's a bit of part of the level where there's a lot of enemies. So,
Starts off with 3 frogs.
can I just say, I would love to have a massive clap if I don't get hit by any of them, right?
Somehow I doubt that's gonna happen, Nost, but...
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's quite difficult.
One hit, that's really good,
pretty
actually.
good. Well done,
It's
mate.
still decent.
That's good.
Come on.
This is my favourite dragon in Reignited, but bye Damon, I don't want to talk to you. This is a speedrun.
We've got no time for talking.
No time for talking.
So something really small that you might actually notice is when loading back into the home worlds, the loading time is significantly shorter than it is entering the actual level. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is to do something with a... How would I describe it? It's kind of like a glitch within the game called level storage. We won't go too much in depth with level storage because it can actually get quite broken in loads of other categories for this game. It is extremely broken to the point where you can get infinite flight in every single level and transfer it between Spyro 1, Spyro 2, and Spyro 3.
For that, I would like to shout out a speedrunner known as McCrody, who managed to find a lot of strats within a few levels of, well, basically a few bits of Reignited Trilogy by using level storage, actually. It is something which we don't use in 120, it's something we don't use in any percent, but it is very crucial for the New Game Plus levels. The New Game Plus runs for Spyro 1. Now, it's interesting you brought out Reku. Sadly, it's not tied to level storage. But you do make a very interesting point. That's actually to do with the different storage types you can have within loading the game. So because obviously this is a good old PC game, and obviously with different modern consoles, you can have different storage things, right? So obviously you got your hard drive, your SSD, and obviously your NVMe SSD. And depending which solid state, which hard drive you use, you are able to shorten those load times. And what you are very close about though, Reku, is what the game does now, I think within the PC version, is that it does actually store the homeward level within the background. That's why it's a little bit quicker. So you are also you're very correct there. That's one thing Reignited is quite clever in doing, is storing levels within the background.
Alright.
I'm going to take a little death abuse there, and now we've got the start of what I would call the Troublesome 2. This is Troublesome number 1.
Pretty much, there are 2 thieves in this level who hold gems. And we're using special skips because normally you need to walk like huge paths of like superchargers to get to these areas. Even Jet would say stuff about like, how did you get here? Because normally it's a really long, hard path to follow. This actually cost me so much pain and suffering that I actually got really frustrated on stream.
I was the exact same. When I first streamed the game, I was trying to do like a 100% run, and I got so confused of how I was meant to get over to certain islands, because it's kind of clear, but also kind of unclear. But basically, you're just meant to use Supercharge all the way through the paths in order just to get to like an island, really. But as you saw Nost do, he can actually skip that.
Did you also see me skip to do keyless as well? Just gonna mention about that?
Yeah, basically key chests can be opened with a supercharger, as you've seen earlier on in the run, and we just used a combination of that and slowing down supercharges to skip the key. So we now have a useless key on us.
And here we have Troublesome number 2.
And did you get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Alright.
That is actually really tight.
A lot of hassle.
It can usually take a few tries so it can even die in there.
Cool. And that's Treetops done. Now, Treetops is also what I would call a little bit of a difficult level as well, purely because that's where it tests your movement skills, obviously, with your supercharge. And as you see with both of those supercharge ramps then, I have basically done the non-game intended route for it, basically. So that's your quickest way to do it. Feel free to give it a try at home, actually. It's all about basically trying to turn as hard as you can while using supercharge.
And next up is Metalhead, and one of the last bosses in this game.
This is the penultimate boss before Nasty. Actually no. Sorry.
We also have
We have Jax as well. Okay, this is the penultimate boss excluding Nasty, I should say.
I would say this is the most enjoyable boss in the game.
It's the most interesting and most fun boss.
He's definitely the best design, I'd say. He's quite funky. Actually, no, I like Shem. He's quite cheeky.
Yeah, Shem's good design. This is good fun.
We do have a donation.
Go ahead, Matt.
It's from the Big P on the couch. £10. The couch, he lives in you.
Thank you, Jojo. You are a legend, mate. He's actually, I will give you a heads up. Jojo behind me is actually contributed very generously towards you, the marathon today. So can we have a massive round of applause for Jojo, who's managed to reach our 1,000 goal here?
Nost, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I know you guys make me feel awkward. Thanks.
Yeah, you made me say that pun, and I'm never gonna forget.
You're welcome. I could have been a lot worse. Wait, what?
Just testing out my donation reading skills, okay, folks? I did it a little bit earlier. I'm going to have a little bit now. Right, so here we go. This is the introduction to Metalhead coming up here. So you see, I don't really need to touch Metalhead because he sort of deals damage to himself, bless his heart, which is all done by these pylons.
Oh, actually got hit.
One more.
That's a little bit of a hit, but that's fine because at least I still get his gem.
Pretty much.
Still a very good one.
There are a few pillars that you can see we're destroying. If they're red, you can't damage them and you can't break them because they would electrify you. If they're green, you can break them, which, of course, if there's 0 left, it's bad for the boss. And pretty much this boss has 2 stages. We just defeated the first stage and we're now up to the second, but we're first getting the extra gems.
Hopefully we can actually get Metalhead to destroy some of the pillars, because he can actually do that, which is...
He did one. He destroyed one just now.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
And he's gone.
And that's
He just accelerated his death process. I mean, you know.
the enemies are helpful.
Yeah.
If there's any way that this is a very typical speedrunning, I think I'd just say memento as well, which is if there's any way to cheese the game to make you play the game faster, cheese it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna forget this 5 gem here, I always forget him as well.
It's so well blended in, I didn't even see that.
Alright, well, it's the chest and we're done.
Nice.
Nice.
Gems in the rough.
More achievements, more get.
I think that one's just getting all the gems
Yeah.
in that level.
Yep.
Chat asks if you're on pace.
If I'm on pace,
Unfortunately, we can't tell at the moment because the game is full screen and we only have a single monitor.
110 on my phone.
110 on your phone, that's?
110 RTA. Yeah, that's somewhat on pace actually, yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, yeah.
Let's just hope. Hey, yeah, might be a world record. Who knows?
Yeah, the run, weirdly enough as it is, still has potential.
Of course, a few hiccups here and there, but it's nothing major so far. All right. Let's get up there.
I'd personally say I think this is going to be close.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what?
Right, so what have I missed?
Oh, shoot.
That gem is...
Ah, there we go.
That gem was sneaky.
Lucky enough it wasn't on like some other part of the level.
Yeah, that gem's always a nasty one, at least there rather than earlier on in the level, because sometime in my last run in practice, what I sometimes can do is I can forget one of the enemy's gems or like somewhere else scan level, which what I would then do is after I do Haunted Towers, which is coming up next, I would then have to kind of guidebook my way back to the beginning of, you know, Beastmakers and try and bring my way around that, so...
Welcome to Dreamweaver.
Welcome to
This is, in my opinion, a really awesome homebrew.
This is. It has some really cool mechanics in it.
Yeah.
This is also where we see the triple input trick later.
Yep.
By the way, I know Reku and Nost may say that Beastmakers is the nicest, is their favourite homeworld. I can't agree with that. I would say that what was the first one called again? Artisans. I would say Artisans is my favourite, and no, we didn't get that gem. That life chest is annoying.
It is what it is.
I forgot a 1 gem, but hopefully if I know which 1 gem, should be alright because I'll be able to get him when I guidebook back. So Haunted Towers is a bit of an interesting level. So from this point onwards, for you folks that might have seen me do any percent in previous UKSMs, this is actually brand new territory because these are the levels which I never do.
They aren't needed.
I don't think I've seen this level since the first time I 100.
Well, there you go.
Which was like months ago.
There you go, Reku. So now, with Haunted Towers, this is a bit of an interesting level because what I'm going to do, there is a power-up later in the level by
You mean right now?
which is done by the. So you see, you can get this fairy kits, right? The purple fairies will give Spyro the super flame, but the only problem is Spyro only get them for a certain amount of time. Now, the one thing which is very odd is Spyro.
Get this?
Yeah, he's getting it.
Nice.
Yeah, easy.
Plenty of time.
So the very weird thing is I think Spyro has a thing for orange dresses. Because as you'll see in a moment, Spyro will get kicked by a fairy in an orange dress, and that dress, for example, for some reason gives Spyro permanent permaflame until I leave the level, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this power up and then try and do the rest of the level as quick as I can. Also, do either of you lot want to mention what I just did there as well with the supercharge?
Again, he turned around on the supercharged platform and went backwards to skip
Orange dresses, folks.
an annoying section.
Alright. Yeah,
Flame.
Girls or boys, if you're into purple dragons, be sure to wear yellow dresses.
To wear purple dresses, okay? Not orange dresses. I'm the one in the Spyro costume, folks. I want to make sure people are wearing orange dresses over the next few days, okay?
Maybe it's to do with his wing color. I don't know.
I think it's a clever thing to do with color theory. It's complementary, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of gems.
Yeah, that is
Forgot that
the
chest
largest gem chest.
Yep. That's a lot of money.
And here's a hole that we fall down to get to the lower section that we skipped earlier.
Give me all them gems. Hungry for gems.
Alright, seeing as we have, of course, the orange dress, we don't need any of the kisses.
Oh yeah, we should mention those knight's armor are invincible unless you have the tower flame
Yeah.
Or supercharge.
or supercharge. Yeah.
Charge the super flame.
I'm surprised I haven't been hit by anything yet in this level.
Yeah, this is going.
Oh wait, speak too soon.
Oh,
I mean,
Well-
that is intentional, so
Yeah, that's
an
for
intentional
optimization.
we don't count that. Alright. Alternates found. Right now we're actually backtracking to the beginning of the level because, of course, we were rushing with our first flame to get that door open to get to the orange dress fastest. We're right now coming back to get everything we still missed here.
Spooky season.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Very spooky
That's a
season.
banger.
And speaking of spooky season, the next level I'm going to go in is going to be quite spooky.
Donation though, whenever you got the chance.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
go ahead.
Demon Seed, £53.
Hey!
Hey,
Nice.
that's a nice
Much
one.
love from the audience, taking my donations to around £100. Bring on that world record, Nost.
Yeah! Thank you very, very much.
That takes our grand total up to £1,139.90.
Aye.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you
Doing really
so
well.
much, everyone. You are incredible. Again, sending my love back to all of you. So what I've just did there was I pressed the guidebook button, which is in the middle of my controller, which brings me back to the beginning of the home run. I also did that at Town Square, right at the beginning of the run, to get back to the beginning of Artisans.
Yeah.
So again, reusing that feature because it's really, really helpful, and it's only a thing you can do in Reignited. So here is Dark Passage, and this is, I'd say, my second favorite level.
Yeah, this is an awesome level. Pretty much.
The weird thing is, though, with Dark Passage is in the original game, it is really, really tough. Extremely tough, because these enemies, again, their reaction times can be quite quick. However, in Reignited, it's nice and nerfed, and I still think it's quite pretty, you know?
In my opinion, it was probably nerfed a bit too much.
A bit
Like,
too much,
a bit
yeah.
harder, but
But yeah,
it's nice to not lose runs to it anymore.
True, that's very true.
pretty much the idea of this is you have these light sources from like the jesters who are walking around, or from like the level naturally, which, as you can see just behind us, the moment the light goes on, the big angry dogs or like the huge turtles become teeny tiny, which you can easily defeat.
And yes, they are bad doggies.
These aren't the good boys you're looking for.
Is that the good?
And also, sometimes if you actually landed on those turtles while you were doing like a glide jump, you could actually get stuck on them for a little while before you get zoned out and you're losing a life.
That happened to this guy and killed a run.
Yeah. Let's just say, I tried to speedrun this game once. It wasn't fun. There was also, because that was 2 years ago, like I think. It was also around spooky season, and I was like, yeah, let's also put on some notifications which can spook me during a...
Extremely loud noises he had on. I don't know why he did it, but it was a terrible, terrible mistake. And he never did it again.
Yeah. But yeah, that happened for me here. So yeah, if you're playing the original, be careful with that.
Oh, I nearly got hit by that arrow there.
That was close.
Just Neo it. Just be in the Matrix.
So this is what I used to call Guantanamo Bay. Purely because this bit used to be what I would say is like the second most difficult bit, but that was only in the original.
Now it's easy.
Now it's nice and easy, which I'm very surprised about.
Like in the original, those demons, would you call them?
Yeah, Cupid demons.
Yeah, they had an extremely good shot and could snipe you very easily. Now they're pathetic.
And also you can charge them.
Yeah.
Which is something you could do in the PAL version of the original, but not on the American NTSC version.
Which is, if you're playing the original, the preferable version to play.
Yeah.
Let's just say the original PAL version has some weird issues with like turning and a few other things, which makes it a lot harder to actually run.
Well, there are a few tricks that are removed.
Yeah, that as well. So pretty much, if you're speedrunning the PAL version, you're basically having just a lot harder time.
Right, folks, I'm going to be using the keyboard along with the controller in a very brief moment.
Here's triple input.
This is what I'm going to say is my first time I've ever done it, kind of, in front of an audience or whatsoever, where I'm going to be doing a triple input. You can do a quadruple input, which I probably would have to ask one of you three to do it, but I think that would be cheating if I did that.
It would be. We've already confirmed that it wouldn't be allowed on the leaderboard.
Right, so here we go.
1, 2, 3.
That's basically it.
Yes.
That turns the cannon so much faster than it normally would do.
Again, it's a PC exclusive, so feel free to try that at home, folks. Go to the cannon, either in Peacekeepers or in Dreamweavers, and feel free to get both your controller and your keyboard out and press all the buttons and make those cannons go extremely quick.
Oh yeah, occasionally stuff doesn't break in this game, it just fades out of existence. That's normal.
And also, the reason why I didn't charge into that firework chest there is because that's the only chest which the recoil, well, Spyro's recoil distance in Reignited has actually gotten bigger than what it was compared to the original, so if I were to charge that, I would immediately fall and die. I don't want to do that in a run.
Alright, Icy Flight.
So Icy Flight's an interesting flight, purely because I feel like it needs to be rerouted. Now, the reason I say that is because I'm going to be doing the route that I know, which is the route which I used to do on the console version. And you'll see that hopefully, if I can get this nice and perfect,
Nice.
I can try and do it within a minute in game time. But the one problem is I have to basically keep the animation running, which for the loadless timer, it still counts. So if I can skip that, if I can reroute this level to skip the animation, that actually might be a little bit helpful. But again, I'll probably have to do that some other time. I'm just going to keep by what I know. And again, if you're interested in running the console version for this, then this route here will be very helpful for you. And again, the leaderboards for the console version as well are actually quite competitive. So feel free to join it.
Fly like an eagle.
There we go, sub 1 minute.
And you didn't retry.
Yeah, thank goodness, eh?
That's now all the flight levels done, I believe, isn't it?
That is all of the flight levels done.
Right now, we're in the second to last homeworld. After this, we only have Nasty's world, pretty much, which is quite unique. If you're playing, like, for example, any percent, it only has a few levels, which instead of like needing to collect certain items or to get a certain amount, you just need to get to the end portals and then leave. So even if you, for example, Nost gets everything and wants to leave, he needs to go via those portals, otherwise it won't count.
Unfortunately, because we're doing 120%, we have to get everything anyway.
Yeah. But if you play any percent, it's just like rush to the end of the level, ASAP, and you're good to go.
So here we are in Lofty Castle. Now, I love the music in Lofty Castle, but the level itself is a bit... It's a bit of a weird one, because there are a few things that can easily try and, kill the run, basically. And these turkeys are a perfect example. And again, you got the Cupids coming back. But thankfully, in the original, I think this level is quite difficult. In Reignited, again, it's been nerfed a little bit.
Which, in my opinion, is a good thing, because when I played this casually, I rage quit. I actually rage quit, and it took me a little while before I actually got back into this.
By the way, you used to be able to skip those fairies in the original by doing a tight jump. We've tried that many times. There's an invisible wall there for some reason, so we can't do it now.
I was just double checking a moment ago, practicing. Actually, what do you three think those all puffed up? See, that's the thing. What are those enemies? Because
Puffed up pelican.
I think they've now got a canon name, but the Spyro community always call them turkeys.
Yeah, they'll always be turkeys for us.
Yeah, I would always call them turkeys.
I legit would have no idea what kind of things those were.
Neither do we. That's why we call them turkeys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in the art gallery, which you can get by getting all the skill points, I think there's now a canonical name for them now. Right, here I'm going to do another little bit of a speedrun skip, not speedrun skip, supercharge skip, by just going over here gliding, which you shouldn't be able to do. Game doesn't want you to do that, but because it's quicker, I'm going to do it. So, sorry game, but this is a speedrun.
As you saw as well, the camera kind of acted up because we were getting so close to the wall. Also, we just saw one of those chests you need to flame so the gem goes up. That was the only red gem chest like that, which is just worth a single gem. Legendary red gem spring chest. Just to annoy you pretty much, because it's like just double checking if I missed
the only place that exists in the entire game.
You know, I mentioned earlier that some of the enemies can be your friends in a very weird sort of way. I don't know if you just saw one of the Cupids shoot one of the fairies free.
I missed it, but...
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so basically you can use those enemies. If you can try and aim them to shoot in the optimal direction, you can obviously use that for a little bit of time save without having to go and flame them yourself.
I think in the original there's a strat where you use the Cupid's arrow to proxy up a wall in this level. Deo Man uses it.
Yes. Shoutouts to my bro Deo.
Oh, Deo.
A legend.
He's legit from the original. He's like an amazing runner.
He's within the top 5, right?
Yeah.
Number 4. Top 4 now.
I think either top 5 or 4. It's one of those two.
Still, anyway, he's an amazing player of this game.
This is also a moment where you kind of don't want the turkeys to ruin it for a little bit, because sometimes they'll nab you quite quick. Really don't want that to happen. Because I want that not to come down. Come on, mate. There we go.
Right. Explain how those balloons can lift that, by the way.
How they can do that?
How they can lift it. It makes
clearly there must be in this sort of world, there must be some sort of gas lighter than helium. I don't know.
Yes.
It's a fantasy world, you know. You can.
It's Dreamweavers, you know.
It's Dreamweavers. Let's not.
This is all a dream.
It is a
Well,
magic.
5 doesn't exist. It's all in
It is a
Spyro's head.
magic-based world, I suppose.
I mean, have you ever seen the flying purple dragon here? I mean, in the real world.
No.
So yeah.
To be fair, I'm trying to put logic to a video game like this one.
It's one of those things that if you're playing this quite late at night, trying putting logic to it is probably, you know,
mistake.
Yeah, that's probably going to be quite a fun thing to do, I reckon. Have you seen that? Have you seen that popular YouTube video of the guy who plays the Crash Bandicoot games at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he makes all the sounds that goes do 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 do.
Oh no!
I swear he's like borderline drunk or something. It's absolutely hilarious.
I want someone to do a Spyro version of that. Alright, now it's to the internet. Someone needs to do a Spyro version of that, please. I would love that.
So, welcome to the most terrifying boss in the game, just on its visual design. In every other way, it's just as pathetic as the others, but...
I mean, in my opinion, it's even worse than the earliest boss in the game. Oh, yep.
Hope nobody here is afraid of clowns. Or jesters, I should say.
Jesters, yeah, you got a few jesters. It's weird because, like, the dragons seem to admit, they say they're not on your side and they might be invisible, but there's no means for them not to be attacked. So obviously, because of this, I'm going to do one layer cake because I like apple cake and, you know, one layer cake.
Pretty much the idea is that you need to do both those jesters so that the two parts of it go up, but we call it the cake. But pretty much you can do it with a single one. It's only just a bit of a more tight jump.
So here we are coming up with Jacques. Now, who agrees with me that this is the most horrifying boss in the game?
Agreed.
Yeah, easily.
See,
Look at
in the original, no one really could tell who's this. Also, who wants to see some nice little clipping here? Whoop.
Oh,
What's a flaw?
Spyro, why are you going through blimmin' platforms? Dude,
they took an idea from Tomb Raider and said that.
yeah, we watched Tomb Raider earlier, come on.
This is just a suggestion. You don't have to follow it.
We're in the 21st century now.
And now this Drago is going to try and tell us about the boss, but he's already dead.
Yep. Not just that, we don't need to listen to him.
Yeah.
The reason as well we get him afterwards is purely because, you know, Spyro, it does a little bit of movement, allows Spyro to move for us a little bit.
That jester just blocked that flame. That's annoying.
That's not really what I wanted to do, but that's fine though, because I need to go back and get that gem anyway.
Just need to do a more specific jump, but you need to come here anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
Right, so there was a jester there that's going to bring down a podium here, which is going to allow us to get to the second dragon in this level over there. This is also where the rest of our gems are.
Yeah.
Obviously, now you can hear that he's been freed. You can, or he's gone back to where he's meant to be. You can do that, flame that chest. Spyro also, this is another new thing as well. All of the cutscenes within Spyro 1, other than obviously than the main cinematics, are actually all loaded. They're all rendered within live in-game. So that's actually quite handy because Spyro's still in the level, he can actually still collect gems during those cutscenes, which is something you can't do in the original.
It's really useful.
So yeah, that can actually help you save a little bit of time.
That was
that was
close.
Save.
That actually fucking let me heart race.
That was really close.
All right.
Be careful, Nost.
Right, so that's basically towards the end of Dreamweavers now, and now we're off to basically the final main home world of the game.
Hi, Dreamweavers.
Is this them?
Right, now...
Sonic.
Yep. A big shout out to the Sonic section as well earlier today. That balloonist just there is actually the current voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog.
That is something I did not know. Wow.
Really?
Pretty cool.
I didn't actually know that.
Fun voice acting trivia for you folks, alright?
Learn something new every day.
And also Spyro is SpongeBob, but you know...
Nice voice change for SpongeBob. Yeah, let's not talk to that balloonist.
Right.
So, with these dragon heads, the requirements to open these dragon heads is to free Delvin, which is this dragon I've just got. I'm just going to get those gems there because, you know, optimization.
Okay.
And get to the vortex of the previous level in this area.
Like I
Get
said.
into the vortex on the previous, on the, obviously, levels before.
All except for loot. For loot, you have to get to the vortexes and collect everything else in the game.
So, okay, I've got a question for you all, and again, I've tried practicing it earlier, but I know that it might change the run a little bit, and I don't know if it might save time or not. I actually, obviously, I haven't really tried it out, but it's going to be probably a first for running this game in general. I'm just going to say this now. Who would like to see me break height cap in Nasty's loot? I hear someone say, "Do it" back there.
Do it? Okay.
What's I say? You seem to have been...
Because again, I say this run is very glitchless. You might have seen so far, and obviously I wouldn't mind trying to show off something that's a little bit glitchy.
It's Probably not going to save time, but may as well. Pull it
Yeah, to
off.
be fair, it changes the route a little bit, but it's fun. I think it's going to be quite fun.
It's not
And if I don't do it first try, then I'm just going to carry on, you know,
Like normal.
carry on keeping on. Carry on, keep on carrying on.
Pretty much like the idea is that in the flight levels you have a maximum cap of how high you can fly. You can break that in certain levels. That's the interesting part.
And loot is the only level to basically have free fly, yet also basically force you to collect gems like a general platformer as well.
Yeah.
So you also got the thieves. It's an interesting level. It's the way of the game's way. It's the game's way of rewarding the player basically for completing the game for 100%. Is you basically get the last 20%. And you gotta admit, just imagine like, you know, everyone here is on the couch. When we were all kids, we probably might have, you know, given this a go. Back when I played the original when I was like 4 or 5 years old, getting those final gems, honestly, was just so rewarding, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I shall be honest, I've never played this before when I was a kid. The first time I actually played it was when I was 17. Or, yeah, 17, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
Because of Nost, and I had the time of my life with this game, and it was so rewarding to 100% complete it. It's really worth a try if you've never played it before.
Out of the originals, the only one that I've ever played is Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. Best name, by the way, don't at me.
I agree.
Okay. Gateway to Glimmer is the best name for Spyro 2, not Ripto's Rage.
Reku, I'll be honest, it is actually also a speedrunning favorite
Exactly.
because it's quite glitchy and you've got a few nice, neat little tricks in it. Spyro 1 is mainly what I would say is, you know, it's your movement tech. So if you wanted to learn, you know, nice, cool little things glitch-wise, highly recommend Spyro 2, both OG and Reignited. But if you want to go for something that's a bit glitchless and very, you know, speed tech based, very movement based, then Spyro 1's your game.
And if you want to go through a little bit of pain, I say a little, it's more of a lot, then you go for Spyro 3.
Spyro 3
Spyro
is
3.
very long, no matter what category you do. So if you want to go for long runs, then that's your game, basically.
Also, right now we skipped another key we need to use. By shooting that barrel just right, you can actually destroy that chest, which of course, having to backtrack while getting the key, effort, time, it's not something we like to do as speedrunners.
Yeah.
We want to be lazy.
We want to be lazy, yet also be fast at it.
Yes. Ah,
Yeah, you actually got that.
yeah, you got it.
I used to have a lot of trouble with this section of North Cove, but thankfully, you know,
Nice.
things are going a lot nicer now. Cool, and that's North Cove done.
All right,
Yeah.
up to the next one.
Next one's Twilight Harbor, which is what modern runners like to call our Splatoon level. You'll see why as we go into it, basically. So, even though I haven't played it, shout-outs to Splatoon. Shout-outs to Emai. She loves Splatoon, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Shout-outs to Emai. She also donated a little bit earlier as well.
Pretty much EMI Splatoon's player who also speedruns the game. And of course, if you know Splatoon, you can probably see what those weapons are kind of like. Oh,
It would have been bad to just forget about that.
Forget about what?
That chest that you almost missed.
Oh yeah, that would have been a problem. See, I've ran this game so much now that I sometimes just forget what half the people are telling me now. I'm like, what? Did I miss something? Did I not miss something?
That's why I said would have been.
Muscle memory.
but yeah, as you can see right now, they spray some kind of purple paint or something like that instead of what used to be Doritos, pretty much.
Doritos, yeah.
They were orange triangles that they fired,
It's
so we
sort-
called them Doritos.
So basically, it's sort of modern day's way of censoring, purely because, back in the day, that suggests bullets, which obviously, if you want to bring this out internationally, you want to use something that's a little bit more friendly, I suppose. But then again, in my book, those like Splatoon guns suggest acid, which, you know, that's no better.
Normally acid's like green or something in games, but
I see paint more than anything.
Yeah. Right, so this is an example of also using death abusing, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this death abuse to warp back to the dragon that I've just freed back there. So I've just got this chest I obviously have to supercharge to get to. I'm going to die here, and because of obviously quick loads, thank you SSD within this computer, you have been a legend for me today. I'm now back at this dragon. So I can now do this, and I need to supercharge again.
Seriously, the loading times in this game are insanely long without an SSD. They can take up to
10 to 15
40
minutes.
40 seconds, 30, 40 seconds of load, load time without
when the game
SSD?
first came out, on a normal hard drive on the PlayStation. However, in Spyro 2 and 3, the load times are literally like near enough instant now, which is like really impressive.
Nice.
I can kind of get what you mean by it's like acid. There is a little bit of steam coming off it.
It could just be hot paint though.
It could just be one paint though.
Let's just call it paint, okay, folks? it's Splatoon, right? Splatoon
And it's ink.
Oh, his body moved very odd.
Yeah. Luckily though, it's all good.
It's very clean.
All right, we're getting the last jumps, and then we're up to the next world, which is
Nasty.
So then, folks, we have now
final
essentially
boss.
done our main platforming section of the game.
Except this last little platforming session.
Well, obviously this is nasty, though.
this is the final boss, the big baddie.
The big baddie, who is probably just as easy as every other boss in the game, you know? But the only difference is with Reignited is now everyone used to make the joke in the original, the nasty skip leg day, because he used to be really, really slow, that you could basically surpass him and then flame him as soon as he gets back. Now in Reignited, he's
not slow.
It's taken him 21 years to finally, I think, get his game on. He's now no longer slow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and one cycle him, but if I miss that one cycle, then it's a bit of a shame. If I one cycle him though, that's immediate time save, because I've not managed to do it on the PC version yet.
It's really rough to do, but if he gets it, that would be amazing.
I'm also going to try and get these fees really quick as well, because this is an any percent strat.
Oh,
Ah. Yeah,
I can still try and get him at this very last bit though, because he gives me a little window.
it would be a bit of time saving.
Just like that, so I didn't really waste any
he
time.
didn't really
doing that.
waste anything.
It would
Alright.
have been a time loss if he'd gone round a second time, but
All right, now you can
Nice, like that
immediately.
second one, nice and easily.
that's a bit of time save off and Nost.
It shows you lot back home that I've been practicing more 120 than any percent recently. Right, so there we are, that's the correct gem count, and now we get to face nasty.
As you can see, his legs are still really thin, but he's a lot faster.
It's the gems, man. He's magical as well, you know?
No, he got lessons from Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Sonic actually has pretty spindly legs too, so yeah.
He just learned how to use them better.
Cartoon characters, man. What can you say? They defy physics.
Right, he's gonna get nastier, but he's gonna have to backtrack.
Right, I might be able to get one cycle.
Oh, yes, that was
barely.
Cycle.
close.
This is time save. This is already time save.
All right, very good.
Have to
That
go
one
back and
cycle is
get
actually
these
extremely
gems.
hard to pull off in a 120% because we're going towards nasty. We're trying to also gain the gems at the same time. But in an any percent, you can actually, I think you can
Ignore
get
them.
to the platform before he even does, or you can
Yeah,
get
you
very
can get there
close.
before he does. He's still slow in that sense.
All right. Anyway, we've got all the gems. Right now,
Platforming.
the last bit
yeah,
of
good shout.
platforming, and after that, it's the final for the boss. And of
Now,
course, then we have
how
to
difficult do you think this is gonna be? You're wrong, it's one hit.
Skill point.
skill point
Two
acquired.
skill points acquired.
There we go, folks. That's the speed run done. No,
No.
one more bit left.
We
We
wish.
wish we could
Not
end
just
there.
yet.
This isn't 100%.
Shoutouts to Credit Skip because that was a
can't-
very hard trick in the original, but you can just press it by pressing triangle now in this.
You had to force yourself to die while Nasty was dying in order to skip the credits in the original, which required you to go out of bounds in order to get to a death plane.
Right, so I'm gonna
Not
focus
anymore.
a little bit now.
Alright,
now I'm gonna give a try at breaking height cap now. Alright?
Alright.
If it doesn't happen first try, then I'll just carry on with the loot. With loot, just because I'm feeling confident enough that I think I'm a little on my head of time. Let's see.
Now, basically, flights, flight levels in this game have a cap with how high you can go, but and as you can see, Spyro got caught by that cap. Unfortunately, Nost failed it. We can show off later.
Yeah, if we have a little bit of time.
Yeah, if you want to check out my channel, I'll be able to show it off there, hopefully.
But yeah, there's a load of invisible boundaries to stop Spyro basically flying all over the level to points where he shouldn't actually be able to fly to because there's a certain route through the level that you're meant to go.
Yeah. So pretty much the idea is you're slowly working your way up to the top of the level, and yeah, of course, getting everything.
This thief is
So
the
the-
most
yeah.
annoying thief in the game.
This
By
thief
far.
is a fast boy.
He's not the worst one, but he's definitely an annoying one.
To me, he's the most annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty much a roundabout. You go in circles, continue going. Yeah, as you can see, of course, now we can fly a bit higher than before.
We're not though, because it's speedier when you're lower down, as always.
You're Spyro. That key went at the speed of light, mate. Come on, Sonic. You're the fastest thing alive. This key is the most fastest non-alive thing.
Stealing all my jokes.
Let's get back here. This should now release out a plane.
All right.
I can now quickly snipe this plane.
Come on. Yes.
Easy.
That's also time saved because I never did that in my recent PB.
Actually, quite important to do. So.
Yeah.
Right, got a few more gems coming up here. I'm actually gonna open the door because why not?
All right.
Now, this is the one that's difficult to snipe.
That's fine, I'll go
he's
back, I'll
gone
go back.
backwards. Don't want.
So yeah, this plane, I don't really know, I can't really remember the actual routing for this, so I just basically try and follow him backwards and then flame it at this very last moment because it does give you a brief window to
I
actually
just
try and-
noticed that thief is running in there.
Yeah.
He's running.
Yeah, like his legs are
Yeah.
moving.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
The animation
Yeah, he is.
running.
I never noticed that before. Oh come on.
There we
There
go.
we are.
Right.
I was saving it for them.
And now we're opening the vault.
A single 10 gem.
Yep, single 10 gem.
ruined the
Thank you, game.
surprise.
The whole reason.
Not much of a surprise.
See, now the interesting thing is, in Reignited, the height caps are determined, I think, based on the doors you unlock. However, in the original, it was based on how high you can fly. So basically, it was all down to how low, how you can. Basically, the highest you can walk. So that's why they made sure that section was the highest bit you can walk.
By the way, you can't charge those fireworks, Nost. I don't know if you know
I
this.
tried.
Right. Now for the big boy room.
We have golden
Most
smoke.
rewarding part. Here we go. This is basically the very end bit of the run. So Matt, heads up. Time is when Spyro enters the vortex. Okay, giving up a big shout coming up in a moment.
Achievement unlocked order and time. Well done, Nost. Now the question is.
Big question: is this world record?
Firstly, what's your in-game time?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna check in game time first. Because it might give us a hint whether I actually got it or not.
117. Oh,
Folks, this is hinting at world record here.
he's not got
That's
that
actually my PB. That's in game time PB.
117.48.
117.
All right, let's
Bring
check.
up live split.
148.43.
That is world record.
Yes!
Yeah.
Nost,
Well done. You now are a world record holder.
Oh, Spyro, 100.
If you've got any shout-outs you want to do them really quickly so that we can get the next run on. You need to be quick.
Yeah, I'll quickly go and end up this then. Again, thank you, Reku, Jojo, and Yari for being my co-host. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you all to donate today. Thank you, everyone. You've been amazing.
Yeah.
And big shout-outs, obviously, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. You're awesome.